Social facilitation. What is social facilitation and why is it important to personal trainers and to the fitness industry? When someone performs a simple task, the amount of pressure placed on them via people watching, the presence of individuals around, the number of eyes that they have on them, we'll consider that on this chart as you see as arousal. So if the task is very simple, stacking blocks, climbing stairs, something that is pretty simple, pretty easy, as more people watch and more people apply pressure or arousal is increased, their ability to perform at a high level and to do well increases as well. But if the task is difficult, the more people present, the more pressure, the more arousal. At a certain point, we get to a point where it's no longer a benefit to have that much arousal. It actually backfires on us a little bit and performance will decline. So an interesting thing happened. This was back in 1898. Norman Triplett was a professor, and he noticed that he was working with cyclists, and this was indoor cycling. So they're on the track, and one rider is going against another team. One other rider from another team, and they're racing. Okay. And these indoor tracks, I don't know exactly how much they are, 400 meters or 200 meters, something like that. And they're racing. And of course, their first lap, they just get fresh and they get going. First or second lap are kind of their fastest ones, and then performance starts to decline a little bit. But the way this sports work is the next rider that goes and the relay will come out, they'll do a lap with their partner signifying the exchange, and then that new rider goes and the first rider goes off. So as the new rider came on, they found that the presence of another person there, another teammate that they wanted to encourage and push, the tired rider, the first rider, their performance actually went up a little bit. Even though they were getting tired and they were getting exhausted, the presence of this other person, more arousal, encouraged their performance to come up, okay? So their performance would start really high, they were doing good, and as they started getting tired, well, here comes their teammate, hey, I gotta pick him up a little, and I know I'm almost done, I'll get him going with a big high energy, and there goes the pass, and then the next one will go. So their last lap wasn't their fastest, but it was faster than some of the laps they'd previously done on their own, simply by that person being present. So then to kind of study this from a difficult task to a simple task, he took kids and had them reel in a fishing pole. So he would lay out, 100 yards or whatever, a fishing line, and he would have a kid all by himself, and he would say, reel this in as fast as you can, ready, go. And they'd reel, and he'd time them. Then he would do the exact same thing, but with another kid next to them that they would perform against, they would try to compete against, and they would all perform better. And so this brought us to the idea of having someone else there helps that individual perform a little bit more efficiently, a little bit more effort. There's an arousal to that the business of personal training is really built on. Yes, we bring education, we bring knowledge, but we also bring a consistency, a schedule, a routine, and an effort. All of that kind of comes in with us, and a big chunk of that is the fact that our client is willing to put in a greater effort because we are there with them, right? They don't know what to do, they don't know how to do it, or they're not motivated to do it. That's kind of what we bring in. So I'll tell you what exercises, I'll teach you how to do them, but also just my presence being here makes you work a little harder. Now, if we bring in a partner, okay? Bring in a partner, I'll try even harder now. We bring in another partner, I'll try even harder now. I've got 4 sets of eyes watching me. But if I bring in another and another and another and another, and eventually we get to a point where you can't really tell anybody apart anymore. We're all just kind of one lump sum of big group of people. There's so many, we no longer have the opportunity to pick out one individual's effort. You're just lost among the abyss of the mass of people that are there. And performance will actually start to decline then because you no longer feel like you're being singled out. You no longer feel like the pressure of the group, this is good pressure, the pressure of the group is watching. So at some point that number, maybe 5 or 6 people in a group, the facilitation, the arousal of everyone's effort merely by their presence starts to go away because you can kind of blend into the audience. So this is a really fun thing to think about for our profession, knowing that our general presence will bring this out of our clients. People don't want to perform badly in front of other individuals. They want to step up. So when we get into a testing format or an effort where we're trying to do our best effort for 10 reps or our best amount of time and a number of reps in a minute, or our highest repetition count and a load of whatever it is we're trying to move, like whatever what I'm saying is our competitive environment, if you will, that we create, our individuals will, more than likely, 9 times out of 10, they will step up, knowing that another set of eyes is on them. So to test this in our classes, when I was in college, I was one of the few athletes in my class, and so I was asked to do a performance test of push-ups and then to plank. So the first one was, we need you to go into this office, you're gonna be by yourself, do as many push-ups as you possibly can. And so I did like 25 push-ups, okay? And then this is a 4-hour class. So they gave me a half-hour break and they said, okay, now we want you to go in the office and take 3 people with you and you guys can cheer and watch him, okay? So then instead of 25, I did like 28. And then they brought me out into the classroom and half the class was watching a movie and the other half of the class got to watch me and I did 32. And then they put me on top of the table with the entire class watching, everyone cheering and screaming and in my face and yelling, and I did 35. And so the effort was I was feeding off the crowd. I was feeding off the idea that I don't want to fail and do worse in front of all these eyes watching me. That arousal, that effort there was very, very high. But then we put 5 other people up on the tables with me and asked me to perform again, and I did like 27. Now, granted, you could say I'm getting tired after this, but I got half-hour breaks in between, body weight push-ups, half hour's a long recovery, okay? But I also knew, hey, I'm kind of blending in with everyone else. Not every set of eyes is on me. And though I gave my best effort, it still wasn't as good as when I was the only one there. So there is a stressed response to this. And yes, you do get to a point where there's a level of comfort, okay? Where it's like, oh, we've been working out together for years now. There's a level of comfort of like, if I don't do great, Rob's not gonna be mad or disappointed. However, the idea that we have a scheduled time, our clients are like, I gotta be there, he's expecting me, okay? That's part of this. That's part of social facilitation is, maybe I wanna stay in and sleep today, or nope, Rob is there, I gotta be, there's an accountability component. There is a stimulus of arousal to that. I gotta get there for this, he's expecting me, okay? Come in the door, hey, I'm a little tired, I'm not feeling that great. Okay, we're still gonna try really hard today though. All right, well, now I gotta step up a little bit. Rob's expecting me to do that, okay? We get into the set, actually I'm feeling pretty good and I'm so glad I actually came here. This is great. And I'm like, cool, let's do another set. Well, that's not exactly what I meant, but all right, Rob's expecting me to. So by the time we get done, not only did I not want to come, but I showed up. Not only did I not want to try hard, but I did. And not only did I only want to do 3 rounds, but I did a 4th round, okay? So and then you leave, you're like, this is great. I'm so glad that I came to do this. I feel fantastic. It completely turns the day around simply by the expectation of, hey, I'm expecting you to be here and I'm expecting you to put out a great effort. It doesn't have to be you on a table with 30 people screaming and cheering. It simply has to be the expectation of, you better be here. And when you get here, I want you to work hard. And when you work hard, I might ask you to do a little bit more. And sometimes the plan will change and we'll do even more. And other times it'll be great and you'll have this great performance and I'll ask you to do a little less. And I need you to understand why, okay? All of this comes into the idea of being a coach, being a personal trainer, and understanding where your client's at, what they're capable of, when we can push and drive to that next level and try to set a new standard, and other times when to back off and to reel them in and let them recover and let them adjust and let them learn more about whatever it is that we're doing. Okay? All of this comes in, and social facilitation is a huge piece of that. So number 1, you coaches out there, never feel like your presence, your effort, your intentions of what you're putting out are going by the wayside, that your clients don't understand or that your clients don't respond to that effort and that presence of your energy. They do. They always do. Okay, or else they wouldn't be there. They wouldn't try hard. There's definitely a response there. And to all the individuals working with the coaches out there, okay, as we call you, our clients, our people, our community members, right? We are always trying to help you get to that next level. We're always trying to help you achieve more. But we also understand that you're human, that sometimes you're not feeling that great. And if there are times where we ask you to step up and you can't, that's okay, right? That's okay. I just don't want that to happen all the time. And if I continue to ask you to step up and you can't, then we're doing something wrong in our programming and we need to communicate. Okay, but other times I ask you to step up and maybe you just don't think you can, but you try anyhow and then you surprise yourself. Maybe eventually you'll start thinking that you can all the time. That's what we call a breakthrough. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a lovely day and we'll see you in the next one.